So trans is basically an umbrella term for lots and lots of different issues that we all just call trans now. So where he's right would be middle class girls at school all thinking they're trans and wanting to transition. That's a middle class problem. That's them trying to fit in and not having real world problems, so having to find other problems instead. They're the same sort of girls who would be trying to commit suicide or would be self-harming or 20 years ago would have been goths. So we're all trying to fit in, we're all looking for problems. And looking for problems isn't a bad thing. That's what keeps you alive. That's what keeps a saber-toothed tiger from getting you. It's always looking what could go wrong and always being aware of it. But when there's nothing serious to go wrong, we start looking at the minutiae of problems and looking for stuff because we have to have something going wrong to keep us alert.
Yeah, an artificial threat or
exactly.
It's a form of threat,
Yeah. So that's one point. But then within trans, we've also got perverted men who are not necessarily middle class. They're just, I'm going to say all men are perverts, but to some extent. But
don't let everybody know what's... That's the secret between us men. Nick.
But some men have always been perverted, and it's now become acceptable to put a miniskirt on, red lipstick and high heels and go around calling yourself Dorothy and going in women's changing rooms and masturbating and filming it and putting it online. And now we call those people trans, and they're nothing like and nothing to do with those girls I just talked about. So this is how confusing trans gets. And then we're looking at male sports cheats who call themselves Dorothy because they're inadequate to win championships as a male, so therefore will cheat and pretend to be a woman to compete against women and beat them. There's always been sports cheats. From the very first time someone invented a sport, a certain percentage of people have found ways to cheat to win. Because some people would rather cheat and win than do their best and lose. It's all about the winning. They don't care if they've cheated. They don't care if they've ruined someone else on the way. It's all about them winning. Some champions, it's about them being the best they can be. So a good one will be Ronaldo. Ronaldo has trained all his life and has pushed himself to the limit. He's in his mid-30s now.
He's actually 39 now.
Well,
yeah, he's nearly 40.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe to look at him that he's nearly 40.
Exactly, pushing himself to the limit every day, training. Even he's a multi-millionaire. Doesn't have to do anything, but he's pushing himself all the time to be the best. He's the complete opposite of the people who would cheat to be the best. He couldn't live with himself if he thought he was cheating, because he's not that type of person. I've never met the man. So it covers a lot of things, but lots of our issues at the moment in society are middle class issues. The green agenda, all these things are basically a middle class issue.
And I think the middle class privilege thing that Graham Linehan was referring to was the fact that some middle class parents see it as a badge of honour to have a trans child, basically.
Oh yeah.
They believe by having a trans child, and I'm paraphrasing what Graham Linehan was saying, is that they will then get special attention, not just for themselves, but for their child as well. That their child will get the attention at school that they deserve because they're a special child. And so they encourage this trans behaviour it is a lot in girls, but it's also in boys as well, in order to feel special, to feel that they can talk to people and they can parade their trans child around. I think that's the point he was trying to make.
That's a good point, and that's another section under the umbrella of trans. So there's no such thing as a trans child, only mentally ill parents.
Yes.
So we have those parents who are basically suffering from Munchausen by proxy. So they're quite willing to damage their child for the social status and attention they gain through doing that. And the reason why this is a middle class issue is because there's no brownie points now being white and being middle class. If anything,
that's a really good
you'll
point.
look down upon even more. So you used to be able to go, my son's gay. that doesn't get you any points these days either, being gay. And you're not black, so you can't claim any slavery points. You're not a different religion. You can't claim any of these other hierarchy of points that you can if you're something else. So the only thing they can cling to at the moment would be trans. And my 3-year-old boy picked up a Barbie the other day. He's obviously a girl now, so therefore I'm going to put dresses on him, tell all my friends to call him Sheila, and suddenly I'm the centre of attention. I'm an amazing parent because I've got a trans child. I'm raising my boy as a girl. I'm a better parent than you. Other people will be looking at me and talking about me. I'm special. I've always known I was special. I just couldn't produce anything that was special enough for people to talk about me. But now I can mentally damage my child and be special. And for people who are thinking, parents could never do that, and there's not enough mentally ill parents to do this, Nick's wrong on this. Let me refer you to what the Aztecs did with their children. Parents were quite happy offering their children as sacrifices to have their beating hearts ripped out of their chest. So if we can do that in one culture, then we're quite...
It's a small step.
This is a small step saying...
Yeah. To have your child's breasts cut off, to have your child's penis removed and a vaginoplasty and all those horrific things which are done to relatively young children.
Yeah.
Although I think Graham Linham was saying that he thinks in the UK they've broken the back of that child, effectively what he regards as child abuse, and I agree with him, basically.
We have with the medical procedures.
Yes.
We've brought the back out of that for the moment.
Yeah.
Labour's getting into power soon, so we don't know.
Yes.
So we brought the back out of that. If you want to understand this more, read up on Munchausen by proxy.
Yes.
You know what that is?
I know it is, yeah.
So for people who don't know, Munchausen by proxy is when a parent purposely injures their child, usually through poison, usually through neglect, and they gain attention by taking those children to doctors and hospitals and them not being able to figure out what's wrong, and then they're being treated as the mother of a sick child, and they're getting sympathy, and they're playing on that all the time. Nearly always mothers. Can lead to the death of children, and so if they can do that, then trans is just extremely similar.
What do you think is going through... Have you heard of Leah Thomas?
Yeah,
Leah Thomas is the American swimmer.
Yeah.
A man
Yeah.
who has pretended to be a woman and hasn't had any surgery, by the way, so has a working male genitals. He's well over 6 foot tall, and he competed in a number of races against female, I think it was college athletes.
Yes, college. He bought lots of records and everything.
Broke lots of records. Now, to look at him ostensibly, he's just a normal young man. Obviously, he was a mediocre male swimmer when he competed. Obviously, broke all those records. What do you think is going through his mind when he's doing this? Because he must know he doesn't look like a woman. He must know he's cheating. He must know what, and he must understand. I'm sure he will be getting validation from some people, but that is quite a grotesque manifestation of this ideology and this kind of this behaviour of these people. What is going through his mind, do you think?
So he's completely different in that umbrella of who's under that. He has convinced himself this is the way to win, and once he made that decision, he started convincing himself it was true. So there's a very good chance he thinks he is trans, but he started as a cheat. Yeah. If you look at the American cyclist who had cancer.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name, but I know who you mean. Yeah.
Won Tour de France 7 times.
Correct.
On the trot.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
Who was, by the way, a phenomenal athlete anyway, even before he started cheating. Yeah.
He knew what he was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
It's ruined his career.
Yeah.
And when the BBC interviewed him a couple of years ago and discussed this with him, the interview at the end threw a question at him at the end and said, if this was 1988, would you do it all again? Meaning cheating. And he went, probably.
Yeah.
So those certain percentage of athletes will take the chance of getting caught just to have their moment of fame.
Yeah.
Because the life of an athlete is a very short life. It's only a few years to be at the very top of anything you do. And to give up, and they've given up normally most of their youth by training, and even when you don't become that successful, you still spend all your life training for it, and eventually the weak-minded people go, I'll cheat, and I will cheat, and I will convince myself it's not really cheating. It's not really cheating to take drugs because I wasn't feeling well, and those people have got more testosterone than me, and that person's got longer. So is it really cheating, me taking performance enhancing drugs? Is it really cheating? No, it's not.
And other people are cheating, by the way, as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, everyone else is doing it, so surely I'm going to win.
And I think that's what Lance Armstrong said. He said everybody else was doing it, but I did it best.
Yeah, well, they were doing it because he was selling them all the drugs. Because he was the ringleader of that.
I think he had a doctor who was supplying a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
But this is quite interesting now, because I think this is something my wife said when she said, what is trans? Because this word trans is used, but it is a whole range of things. And I think you've hit on something very interesting here, because Leah Thomas, what you're saying is Leah Thomas actually probably isn't trans. What Leah Thomas is somebody who wants to win.
Yeah, it's a cheat.
And they are using a methodology, as Lance Armstrong did, to win. So you almost say, here's a separate category.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, here's trans, but actually this guy here isn't trans, because this guy here, or this guy, his manifestation of trans is he wants to win at sports.
Yeah.
So he's pretending to be a woman in order to win at sports. So,
and for people who say there's no way an athlete would do that.
Oh, that's nonsense. I mean, everybody knows that.
There's huge cheating in the Paralympics.
Yeah.
Which I found it hard to believe when I first started researching this. I forgot what the term's called now, but if you are in a wheelchair and you've got spinal damage, you can't feel your legs. So they do they're in quite a lot of Paralympics. And what some of them do is just before the race, they break a toe bone by themselves, because even though they can't feel the pain, their body goes into shock, releases adrenaline and all that stuff, and suddenly they're more pumped. I forgot what the term's called, but they break their own bones. It's cheating.
Yeah.
Or they will have
they have an adrenaline rush.
something strapped to the leg, like a
generate pain.
Like they can twist or cut the leg and stuff like that, because it will generate all that adrenaline, because the body.
And then they can perform at a higher level.
They can perform at a higher level. So people are looking at different ways of cheating in sport all the time.
But there's also in the Paralympics now, aren't there kind of mental illness is part of it?
Yes.
So then how?
They have to see the test.
Yes.
And about a decade ago, the Spanish basketball team won the gold medal, and then they found out that all of them were not tested for mental capacity, and all would have failed it anyway because they were too smart to beat it. And they found out that lots of people were cheating, and lots of them lost the gold medals. If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around. Tell your family, tell your friends. The only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.